What's up, Coaching Success Radio? I'm going to talk today about money. Money, it's one of my favorite topics in the whole world. And I want to talk to you about one of the strategies I work with my students. This is something that I work with first off whenever I'm first working with somebody who gets into my program. And this system alone has knocked over so many barriers for people, and it started getting people from where they are to making 5 figures a month super, super quick. I'm going to share that exact strategy with you right now.
As I build my coaching business, I want to know how to effectively serve clients and make more money doing it. This podcast will pull back the curtain to reveal exactly how successful coaches are building their empires. Join me as I engage with top coaches from all over the world to discover their secrets. No theatrics and no theory, just real life strategy. My name is William Winterton, and this is Coaching Success Radio.
Oh, what's going on? Welcome to the podcast. Super excited today. It's going to be a little bit vulnerable. I'm going to share a little bit about myself and my journey and actually kind of dig into my past a little bit so you can understand where things are today and how I got here. But I want to do this. It's super important that you understand that I'm just a normal guy. I've been able to do very well for myself in coaching and in business, and it's 100% possible for you to do the very same thing, even if you've not seen that success yet. So I want to talk about that because a lot of times whenever we hear people talking about how well they've done and how much money they've made, blah, 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 it's like, great, it's good for that person, but what about for me? And I don't want you to walk away from here thinking that William is amazing. I want you to think that William is just this guy here, right? I know it looks pretty good, but it's just me, okay? I promise you, I did nothing spectacular to start making money in this game. I just simply learned what the rules were and stuck to the rules. I don't like to figure out the cheats and the shortcuts that sometimes work and, win you a fortune. I want to figure out what actually works all the time, consistently, and starts bringing money in. That's what I want to play by. I have a very good person named Stephen Larson, who I'm actually bringing on in an interview in about a month here. I'm super, super excited. But he is a dynamic coach, and he's actually, if you know anything about ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson, he was like the number one guy that Russell Brunson turned to and still does to do all of his coaching. He's an amazing guy, and I'm having him on the show in about 5 weeks here. So I'm super, super excited about that. But one of the things he talks about a lot is that he doesn't want to do the things that sometimes work. He wants to do the things that work all the time consistently and build on those things. So a little backstory about myself and where this is coming from. A lot of people, especially when they first get into business and they start thinking of all these amazing dreams about how much money they're going to make, if you ask them what they want to do and how much they actually want to earn and all that kind of thing, somewhere in that conversation, things come up like, I want to have $1 million. I want to have financial freedom. I want to have unlimited passive income so I can travel the world. I want to have, and they start listing all these wonderful, huge goals. Problem with that is that's not something they can really bite into. If you've never made $1 million before, saying to yourself, I can't wait till I have $1 million, it means nothing. It's the same thing as I can't wait till I can fly on a spaceship and go to Mars. Yeah, that's exciting, but you're in your brain, you know that's never going to happen. And the same thing happens whenever you make this outlandish just number, this out of thin air number, and $1 million seems to be the big thing. If you've never made $1 million, it's not something that you're going to understand enough to drive you. For example, for a long time, my wife and I, in building our companies and actually doing real estate and doing videography and then the coaching and then all the things that we've kind of done on the side, for a lot, and I mean a lot of that journey, the main thing we really wanted wasn't to become millionaires. It wasn't even to have, 6 figures a year coming in. It wasn't even to have like 5 figures a month, or it wasn't any of that stuff. What we really wanted and what we needed in our world was we needed breathing room. That's pretty much it. I worked at a church. I was making very, very little at a church. She was a stay-at-home mom. So we said, man, we need some breathing room. We're going to start a company and we're going to start making a little bit of extra money. And we did. We had a little extra money coming in. But it wasn't huge. It wasn't sustainable. We ended up working a lot of hours to make that money. So we kept saying to ourselves, man, we got to have some breathing room in here. We'd have real estate deals. Some of them would go very well. Some of them we would actually just barely get out of there alive. And it's like, man, I want to have enough money coming in so that we can breathe. Like, we had all these dreams of flying around the world and taking our kids on all these wonderful trips and having these great memories and stuff. But really, if it came down to it, all I wanted was to pad my bank account with like $10,000 or $20,000. to where my checking account just had that kind of cash sitting in it. I didn't really want to be, a millionaire, in the sense that I didn't want it bad enough to give everything up and go after it. Okay, that's the reality of it, right? And so whenever we have 2 kids and we're raising our family, and I just want to make sure that they're okay and that we can afford to do basic stuff, that we're not having to rack up credit cards to make things happen, that we're not having to borrow money from family and stuff like that. That's the stuff that was the motivational stuff, especially early on in our marriage and in our early businesses, was like, look, I just want to be able to survive, right? I want to be able to go to the store and feel like I can just go shopping for regular stuff, name brand stuff, that I don't have to try and clip coupons and try and make things, work out somehow. And, don't worry about it. I'll just wear the same clothes I've worn for the past 5 years. And, would just figure out how to make this car work a little bit longer. I know it's falling apart, or, we got to redo the bathroom. It's a mess, but we'll just get through it. Like all that stuff. That's where we were at, is like, if we can just make it through this next paycheck, then we'll be okay. And that is a huge trap. And I feel like a lot of people are in that mindset even after they go into business for themselves and decide, I'm going to use this business to start making $1 million. And the problem, like I said, with that is you don't want the $1 million. You want the breathing room. All right. So that's kind of one of the things that I find whenever I'm working with somebody, is they set these goals for themselves. And the goal may even be like, I want to make $5,000 a month in my coaching. I'm like, great, totally can do that. That's absolutely possible. I want to make $10,000 a month. I'm going to make $20,000 a month. Cool, let's do it. I can totally help you get there. That's what I've got. That's what I do. That's what the systems are in place. And I help people do that all the time. We don't spend money on ads. We don't, do all the stuff that people tell you that you have to do, spend months and months and months putting tons of content out. Don't need all that stuff, right? There's a very simple system that you can use to do that. If you want to know more about that, you can visit williamwinterton.com. I've laid it all out for you. And if it's something that's interesting, you can always just schedule a call and we can talk and see if I can help you get there. That's just what I do, and it's very, very possible to do. But the first thing I ask whenever somebody says, I really need to make $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month, my question is why? Why do you need to make that? Because what I found is that I can get you there a lot faster and a lot easier if it's something you really want to get. I can do just about anything to help you, but I can't make you hungry, right? I can't make you want it so badly that you're going to do everything in your power to make it happen. I'm saying that you've got to want it bad enough. And just coming up with some kind of an arbitrary number that, oh gosh, it'd be nice if I did this, that's a tougher road. You have to really passionately want the result that you're chasing after. An arbitrary number is not going to do it. I don't know how many of you have read The Secret. I don't know how many people have read any of that stuff with the law of attraction, and that's all great. I know people who have taken and written down, a number, $1 million, $100,000 or something on like a whiteboard, right? They'll write it down. They'll be like, okay, cool. Dream vacation, Mercedes and all these things. And they put these pictures up and they're like, okay, cool. This is going to be in my subconscious and this is what I'm going to want. And that's great because they're all like, okay, I'm going to manifest this now. And somehow I'm just going to, achieve this. Yes, it works, but you have to really want it. Just writing something down or cutting something out of a magazine isn't going to manifest it for you. If you are somebody who's made money before, let's say you've made $1 million before and you've lost it all. There's plenty of people who have done that. Well, you know what? Making that $1 million again isn't nearly as difficult. Think of the people who have made tons of money and lost it and then made it again and lost it and made it again. You're thinking, how do they keep making it and how do they keep losing it, right? Well, the thing is they got these habits, right, that are forcing them to like, well, I have to be a millionaire. I have to have that money. So they make it. And then once they have it, they have a habit that's going to make them spend it and lose it, through bad investments or not keeping their money intelligently invested or saved. So they go through the cycle, right? So they've got something working, but they can't hold on to it. Same thing happens whenever you are brand new to this. If you have always been paycheck to paycheck, and you've always scraped by off of making, $50,000 a year as a married couple or $100,000 a year or whatever it is, and that's where your number has been, that's kind of where your ceiling is, and that's kind of where your limits are. It's a lot more challenging to break through that because that's where your comfort zone is. And if you are comfortable always making $100,000 a year, getting yourself to that point where you're making $20,000, $30,000 a month is a little bit of a challenge, right? Because now all of a sudden you're making like, $250,000 a year, and that seems awesome, but like that's not your comfort zone. You're gonna struggle when you hit that 100,000 again during your coaching business, and you're gonna get to that point, and then it's not gonna be as easy to move past that. So that's why we got to work on getting your mindset right and getting your ability to accept earning more money and accept making more money. So I want to take you through a couple things here. The only thing that's stopping you really from making more money is you. And I've taken a couple notes here. What I want you to think through is if you aren't making the kind of money that you want to make, right? If you really want to make 5 figures a month, and it's not even that you just want it, but it's like, I need this. I've got to have this. I know I'm worth it. I know I can do it. I've got to prove this to myself. I am on fire. I'm going to make this happen. I really, really want this. So I want you to think in your mind, what are the things that are actually stopping you from making that money? What are the roadblocks preventing you from making the kind of money that you truly want to make? So go ahead and write all those things down. Take like 5 minutes and just write down, I don't think, I don't think I'm able to serve my clients well enough to charge high prices. Maybe that's one of the roadblocks. I don't think what I do can actually attract people who have money. Blah, blah, blah. Every roadblock of reason why you can't make the kind of money you make. I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough this or that. I can't do this. And I want you to be super specific as to why. Because something in your mind is stopping you from making that money. It's not necessarily that you're not able to solve the problem. It's not necessarily that you're in a bad market. It could very well be, and usually most of the time it's that your mind, there's something that you're blocking yourself from doing. Take the time to actually write this down. I want you this to be a real exercise that you go through and you go through and actually write down specifically line by line what it is that's blocking you. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go through each one of those line items, right? Each one of those things. And I want you to ask yourself, is this really something that's stopping me? Is this a real barrier to me achieving what it is I want to achieve? Or is this just something that I've made up in my mind? In other words, if what you're trying to accomplish, for instance, was I want to make $1 million because I want to play professional baseball, yet you've never played professional baseball in your life, then yeah, I would say that's a real barrier that's stopping you from doing that, right? But if you're saying, I can't charge people that much money because I don't have the experience, is that 100% true, or is that just something you're telling yourself? Is that something that potentially you could get to that point where you can charge a reasonable price that's totally worth the result that you're providing? So I want you to go through line by line and look at that and say, is this something that is only in my mind and it's not real, but I'm assuming that it's real? Okay, and then the last thing that I want you to do, this is where it gets really exciting. I want you to think really clearly now, looking at this list. Here's the stuff that's blocking you. Here's whether or not it's a real thing that's blocking me. And I want you to ask yourself that even though this barrier is here, and even though I have this issue, and it's not necessarily solved just because I've actually written it down and said, yeah, this is probably not real, but I'm still facing this. I want you just to ask yourself, can I still possibly get what I want, even though this roadblock is preventing me currently? Even though I currently and presently struggle with this issue, is it possible for me to still get what I want? If you can get yourself to that point where you say, yeah, it is possible, doors are going to start opening up for you. Things are going to start appearing, and opportunities that you never had before are going to start rearing their heads and saying, look, here are some of the opportunities that you were missing out on before just because of these little blockages that you had in your mind. I'm talking about getting you from where you are right now to having the money to do the things that you want to do realistically, right? These are the things that you just want to live and have and enjoy without freaking out about how am I going to make this work anymore. If that sounds good to you, then try this exercise. This is going to help unblock some of that. I hope this has been inspiring for you. I hope this has been good. I would love it if you would subscribe. I'd love it if you would comment. Let me know what you think about the podcast. Let everybody you know about this podcast, because my whole goal here is to help serve as many coaches as I can. And I can only do that if I have coaches to talk to. So let's go ahead and let's boost this thing up. And again, thank you so much for tuning in, checking it out, and I will talk with you in the next episode.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out. New episodes are coming out every few days, including lots of conversations with massively successful coaches sharing their secrets with you. So be sure to subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel so that you don't miss out. And if you're looking for a way to start making serious money from your coaching, you need to check out my free training. It's at williamwinterton.com. I lay out the step-by-step on how to start making 5 figures a month in the next 60 days. Check it out, williamwinterton.com. I'll see you next time.